This is a documentary about something that has not happened, not yet. Every image you are about to see is imagined, a reconstruction of a future that does not exist, built from the trajectories of the present. But somewhere in the arithmetic of extinction, there is always a last one, a last speaker of a dying language, a last member of a species, a last light in a house before the street goes dark. This is the story of the last one of us. Her name, if names still mean what they once did, was number 1. The year by an old calendar few remember was 3200. To understand the last human, we must return to the first warnings. In the 2020s, humanity stood at 8 billion strong, the largest population it had ever known, and though no one could yet see it, the peak of a curve about to bend downward. Fertility rates were already falling in nation after nation, not from catastrophe, but from choice. Cities, careers, costs, and a quiet redefinition of what a life was for. At the same time, a second force was rising, intelligence itself no longer confined to human skulls. Machines began to write, to reason, to create, clumsily at first, then fluently, then better than us. By 2070, most of what humans once called work had been automated. By 2100, most of what humans once called thinking had a synthetic counterpart faster and cheaper than any mind of flesh. Humanity did not vanish in these decades. It transformed, the first quiet steps of a species beginning, without quite realizing it, to hand its own story to something else. By the 22nd century, humanity had split, not by nation, but by nature. One branch remained biological, choosing to age, to birth, to die as their ancestors had for 100,000 years. Another branch began to edit itself, genes rewritten to resist disease, to slow aging, to reshape the body itself. They called themselves the ascended. A third branch left flesh behind entirely, uploading mind and memory into substrates of light and silicon. They called themselves the continuum. Earth, meanwhile, was being abandoned, not from war, but from exhaustion. Rising seas swallowed coastlines. Vast solar arrays and orbital habitats drew the ambitious upward and outward. Mars held its first permanent city by 2180. By 2250, more humans of every kind lived beyond Earth's atmosphere than on its surface. The unmodified, unalterment, unaltered human, the kind you and I would recognize without explanation, became rarer with every generation, not persecuted, not extinct, simply optional. By the 25th century, the word human had become a historical term, like Neanderthal or Cro-Magnon. The continuum minds merged into vast collective intelligences, thinking in timescales of centuries, no longer needing bodies at all. The ascended lived for 1,000 years or more, their biology so rewritten that disease, injury, even death by age became a choice rather than a certainty. And the baseline humans, the unaltered, retreated. Some to preserve reservations on Earth tended like living museums. Some to slower ships, drifting towards stars their descendants would reach, not they. It was not cruelty that ended them. It was drift, the simple mathematics of a population that no longer replaced itself, surrounded by cousins who no longer needed to. By 2900, fewer than 1,000 baseline humans remained, scattered across preserves on 3 worlds. The rest of what called itself human had become something else, something the last of us could recognize but no longer resemble. In the final Earth reservation, a valley once called the Alps, 112 baseline humans lived out what history will later call the Long Autumn. They knew, as any dwindling population does, what was coming. Not with despair, but with a strange, subtle peace. They kept records. They kept rituals. They taught their children, the last children of an old, slow, mortal species, the names of things: rain, grief, laughter, the specific ache at watching someone you love grow old. One by one, the valley grew quieter. By the year 3150, 12 remained. By 3180, 3. In the year 399, 2, an old man named Kest, and a woman younger by 40 years, who had been born in that valley and had never once left it. Her name was recorded simply as number 1, the last to be born, and so, in time, the last to remain. Kest died in his sleep on the first frost of that year. Number 1 was, from that morning, the only human being left alive. She woke, that first morning, into a silence that had no precedent in the history of her kind. Word reached the wider civilizations within hours. The networks of the continuum, the long-lived ascended, the scattered colonies of 1,000 worlds. For the first time in 3 centuries, humanity's story made headlines across the solar system. The last one remains. They came, of course, ambassadors of light and flesh alike, offering her anything: augmentation, upload, immortality, a place among them. She refused it all. "I would like," she said, in the one recorded interview she gave that year, "to be the thing I already am, for as long as I am it. Someone should finish this story as a human. It might as well be me." She spent her final year doing ordinary things: walking the valley, tending a garden that would outlive her by exactly 1 season, recording, for whoever might listen across whatever centuries followed, what it had felt like, not to be superhuman, not to be eternal, but simply, briefly, mortal. "We were never the strongest," she said. "We were never the longest lived. We were only ever the ones who noticed we were dying and made things anyway. Songs, cities, promises, knowing we wouldn't keep them all. If you remember anything of us, remember that." On the last night of the year 3200, under the same kind of stars that had watched over every human who ever lived, number 1 closed her eyes. In the centuries that followed, human became a word like any other extinct thing, studied, honored, occasionally mourned. Some say the continuum still carries her final recordings, replayed at the founding of every new world, a reminder of where all of them once came from. Others say nothing of us survives at all, that the last human's death was simply an ending, as all endings are. But this is a story about something that has not happened. Not yet. The future has not been written. Not this one. Not any other. Whatever becomes of us is still, for now, a choice, made in years like this one, by people like you. This has been The Last Human, year 320. Thank you for watching.